Iberian Peninsula, the land in the far west as the Greeks baptized it. Isolated from the rest of the known world in the far west, it is inhabited by many Iron Ages tribes scattered across the peninsula. These tribes are divided into three main groups across the land. Iberians to the southeast, the most advanced group in Iberia, as they established trading routes with most of the Mediterranean world, being known throughout the known world as the best mercenaries in the Mediterranean. Then we have Celt-Iberians. They are a mix of Celts and Iberians. They confine themselves to the center of the land, being extremely warlike peoples and highly demanded mercenaries. And finally we have the Celts, living in the far northwest of the peninsula. They are the most warlike and isolated from all the Mediterranean trade, living off the land and using banditry and mercenary as a way to live by. The Romans are expanding in Hispania, a name given by them which means land of rabbits. After the end of the Second Punic War, now with Carthage expelled from Iberia, it became much more easier for the Romans to properly set a foot in this land and conquer it. In 206 BC, the Romans would invade it from the east and attempt to seize it from the Iberians, which fought back many years, lasting until the 196 BC, with their submission to Rome. As the Republic pushes deeper into the land, they find themselves in another war, the First Celtiberian War. After almost a decade of resistance, the Celtiberians sign a treaty of relative peace with Rome. The Roman progress in Iberia had come to a halt for now, and years later the Celtiberians would revolt once more against Rome, leading to a 2-year resistance, leading to the famous siege of Numantia, where many killed themselves before Rome took over the fortress. They kept pushing westwards and found the Celtic tribe of the Lusitani, considered the strongest of all the tribes of Iberia. The Lusitanian Wars became a real trouble for the Romans, as they were having a tough time beating these tribes. They would escalate a war with Rome based on small skirmishes. The Lusitani had the upper hand for many years, until their leader, Viriathus, was killed by his own people bribed by Rome. They would fall 8 years after completing the conquest of Lusitania, and now they would focus their attention to a land called Gallaecea, which was named after the Gallaeci tribe north of the Douro River. As in the year 136 BC, a massive Gallaecian tribe of roughly around 60,000 men stood across the river, contesting the Roman army in the opposite bank, led by Decimus Brutus. A certain time the Gallaecii would storm across the river through a shallow area, and the Romans would defeat them, killing most of the army. After this great victory, Decimus kept marching forward deeper into Gallaecea, coming across the legendary river Limia, and its famous tale of the crossing of Decimus. The tale says that as Decimus and his army came across the Limia River, his troops would refuse to cross, convinced it was the river Lethes, which means river of forgetfulness. It was believed by the Romans that if they crossed this river, they would forget everything, even who they were. The Roman general could not hear the complaints any longer, and decided to prove his superstitious soldiers that this was just another river, as many other that they crossed through their campaign. Decimus would cross the river on his horse and make it to the other bank, and he would scream the names of the 3 most stubborn soldiers in the ranks.
Caesarus Julius Marcus.
Decimus Brutus keeps pushing north of the Douro River, entering into the Bracari land, a name given by the Romans, which means pants people, as they would fight the Romans wearing only pants, and the rest of the upper body would be fully naked to put fear into the hearts of the legions. This is the description of the battle with the Bracari tribe.
Brutus arrived to yet another river, the Minas River, facing the Bracarii as they raided and stole his army provisions. This is a people which also has women warriors that fight alongside the men and die with bravery without uttering a cry. Some of them, during the fight, would kill themselves or each other, and a few of them would even cut the throats of their own children, preferring death to slavery.
After setting a peace with these tribes for some time, he would keep pushing north, fighting off many tribes in Gallaecia. He would ultimately attempt to burn many villages, and especially castrums. Castrums are typical to the northwest of Iberia. They are fortified villages on top of the A mountain or a hill for defense reasons. As retaliation for the rebellion going in the region, he would pay back with scourging the land. A famous castrum which he would destroy was the castrum of Teroso in Povoa de Varzim, which shown signs of destruction dating back to Decimus Brutus campaign, which would later be rebuilt as a Roman city. After this brief campaign in southern Gallaecea, he would leave this land with peace treaties and a wasted, scourged earth after his incursions, gaining the name Gallaecus. which means conqueror of the Gallaecia, but Rome would have to come many years later, as the peace would be over and Emperor Augustus himself would have to come to Iberia to put an end to the resistance led by the Astures and Cantabriae, leading to the Cantabrian Wars, which would last 10 long years. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below for more content like this. Stay curious, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next video.